A blessing stolen, a family shaken, deception and destiny in Genesis 27. When a mother schemes, a son lies, and a father's blindness collide, what happens to God's promise? Where Jacob wears his brother's clothes, steals his father's blessing, and sets off a chain reaction that changes history. Can a stolen blessing still carry God's purpose? Dive into the tangled web of Jacob and Esau and discover how divine purposes unfold even through human failure.
Hello and welcome back to Scripture Impact, where timeless stories from Scripture meet the real questions of today. I am Enuma, your host, and together we are exploring the narratives that have shaped faith, history, and human experience. In this episode, we are keeping it real as we turn to one of the most dramatic and emotionally complex chapters in Genesis, which is Genesis chapter 27. It's a story of family deception, favoritism, and a blessing that changed everything. We're going to be meeting with an aging father, a scheming mother, two very different twin brothers, and a single moment that altered the future of an entire nation. Honestly, I must confess that as I read this chapter again while putting this together, I became teary. I could feel the pain of Isaac when he realized that he had been tricked. I could feel the fury in Esau's heart when he also realized that his younger brother had done it again. But then I wondered at the level of hatred or disconnect between Rebekah and his son Esau to the point that she facilitated this deceit. Now, don't forget that these were her sons. In fact, they were twins. And even taking a second look at it again, I'm even wondering why couldn't Jacob do the right thing, knowing obviously that his mother wasn't giving him the best advice at that point. Well, as we unpack Genesis chapter 27, I'd like you to, begin to ask yourself some questions. Think about what happens when trust is broken within a family. What kind of chaos could possibly be seen in a family where there is no single trust? And also, can blessings be stolen? And if so, does it still hold power? Is it possible that this could be God working through human flaws? Now, I want you to go ahead and share your opinion in the comment section and then settle in, whether you're driving, walking, or just taking a moment for yourself. Let's step into the tent of Isaac, where a meal was prepared, a voice was disguised, and a legacy hung in the balance. I always have my drink right here. You might also want to do the same thing. Now let's step in and listen. Genesis chapter 27 from verse 1 to 13 raised uncomfortable questions, and yet within the messiness of this family drama, we saw the threads of a much bigger story that God was weaving. This passage is a snapshot of a family intention divided by favoritism, marked by secrecy, and moved by ambition. It was the setup to one of the most well known acts of deception in the Old Testament. Yeah. Isaac, now old and nearly blind, believed his time on earth was short. So he called his eldest son Esau the hunter and asked him to prepare a meal, kind of like one last act of love before passing on the family blessing to him. But what happened, or rather, what began as a private moment between father and son quickly became something much more complicated because Rebecca was listening and then she had a plan. Let's step in and listen.
One day when Isaac was old and turning blind, he called for Esau, his older son, and said, "My son." "Yes, father?" Esau replied. "I am an old man now," Isaac said, "and I don't know when I may die. Take your bow and a quiver full of arrows, and go out into the open country to hunt some wild game for me. Prepare my favorite dish, and bring it here for me to eat. Then I will pronounce the blessing that belongs to you, my firstborn son, before I die." But Rebekah overheard what Isaac had said to his son Esau. So when Esau left to hunt for the wild game, she said to her son Jacob, "Listen, I overheard your father say to Esau, 'Bring me some wild game and prepare me a delicious meal. Then I will bless you in the Lord's presence before I die.' Now my son, listen to me. Do exactly as I tell you. Go out to the flocks and bring me 2 fine young goats. I'll use them to prepare your father's favorite dish. Then take the food to your father so he can eat it and bless you before he dies." "But look," Jacob replied to Rebekah, "my brother Esau is a hairy man, and my skin is smooth. What if my father touches me? He'll see that I'm trying to trick him, and then he'll curse me instead of blessing me." But his mother replied, "Then let the curse fall on me, my son. Just do what I tell you. Go out and get the goats for me."
Now, previously in Genesis chapter 27, we saw how the plan began to unfold. There was Rebekah's instruction, there was Jacob's hesitation, and the quiet preparation for what became one of the most controversial moments in the story of Israel. And then in verses 14 through 29, the deception moved from theory to reality. Jacob, who actually agreed to disguise himself in his brother's clothes, brought the meal to his nearly blind father, Isaac. But what followed was a slow, suspense filled exchange because Isaac was full of hesitation, suspicion. He kept asking, "Who are you, my son?" He smelt the clothes, he felt the skin, he heard the voice, but then ultimately he surrendered. And then he gave the blessing, the powerful, irreversible blessing meant for the firstborn. In this moment, destinies shifted, but at what cost? As we read Genesis chapter 14 to 20, and I want you to pay attention to the details, the subtle clues, the emotional weight, and the mystery of how divine purpose can move through human imperfection. Let's listen.
So Jacob went out and got the young goats for his mother. Rebekah took them and prepared a delicious meal just the way Isaac liked it. Then she took Esau's favorite clothes which were there in the house and gave them to her younger son, Jacob. She covered his arms and the smooth part of his neck with the skin of the young goats. Then she gave Jacob the delicious meal, including freshly baked bread. So Jacob took the food to his father. "My father?" he said. "Yes, my son," Isaac answered. "Who are you, Esau or Jacob?" Jacob replied, "It's Esau, your firstborn son. I've done as you told me. Here is the wild game. Now sit up and eat it so you can give me your blessing." Isaac asked, "How did you find it so quickly, my son?" "The Lord your God put it in my path," Jacob replied. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Come closer so I can touch you and make sure that you really are Esau." So Jacob went closer to his father, and Isaac touched him. "The voice is Jacob's, but the hands are Esau's," Isaac said. But he did not recognize Jacob, because Jacob's hands felt hairy just like Esau's. So Isaac prepared to bless Jacob. "But are you really my son Esau?" he asked. "Yes, I am," Jacob replied. Then Isaac said, "Now, my son, bring me the wild game. Let me eat it, and then I will give you my blessing." So Jacob took the food to his father, and Isaac ate it. He also drank the wine that Jacob served him. Then Isaac said to Jacob, "Please come a little closer and kiss me, my son." So Jacob went over and kissed him. And when Isaac caught the smell of his clothes, he was finally convinced, and he blessed his son. He said, "Ah, the smell of my son is like the smell of the outdoors, which the Lord has blessed. From the dew of heaven and the richness of the earth, may God always give you abundant harvests of grain and bountiful new wine. May many nations become your servants, and may they bow down to you. May you be the master over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. All who curse you will be cursed, and all who bless you will be blessed."
Now, by the time Jacob left his father's tent, the blessing had already been spoken and nothing could undo it. As we pick up in Genesis 27, verse 30 to the end, the consequences of the deception began to unfold almost immediately. Esau returned from the hunt, full of pride and expectation for him, ready to receive the father's blessing. But he was too late. And then Isaac trembled violently when he realized what had happened. Esau cried out in anguish, begging for a blessing of his own. but the inheritance had already passed. The moment was gone. This final section of Genesis chapter 27 showed us just how deep the pain of betrayal can run between brothers, between parents and children, even within a family, especially that has already been divided by favoritism and secrecy. Esau's sorrow turned quickly into a vow to kill Jacob after their father's death. And Rebekah, who had orchestrated the whole plan, was forced to send her favorite son Jacob away, not knowing if she would ever see him again. Now this is a chapter, that ended not with triumph, but with heartbreak. Now I want you to pause for a little bit and I'll be back to take you to how it all unfolded.
As soon as Isaac had finished blessing Jacob, and almost before Jacob had left his father, Esau returned from his hunt. Esau prepared a delicious meal and brought it to his father. Then he said, "Sit up, my father, and eat my wild game so you can give me your blessing." But Isaac asked him, "Who are you?" Esau replied, "It's your son, your firstborn son, Esau." Isaac began to tremble uncontrollably and said, "Then who just served me wild game? I have already eaten it, and I blessed him just before you came. And yes, that blessing must stand." When Esau heard his father's words, he let out a loud and bitter cry. "Oh, my father, what about me? Bless me too," he begged. But Isaac said, "Your brother was here and he tricked me. He has taken away your blessing." Esau exclaimed, "No wonder his name is Jacob, for now he has cheated me twice. First he took my rights as the firstborn, and now he has stolen my blessing. Oh, haven't you saved even one blessing for me?" Isaac said to Esau, "I have made Jacob your master, and have declared that all his brothers will be his servants. I have guaranteed him an abundance of grain and wine. What is left for me to give you, my son?" Esau pleaded, "But do you have only one blessing?" "Oh, my father, bless me too." Then Esau broke down and wept. Finally, his father Isaac said to him, "You will live away from the richness of the earth, and away from the dew of the heaven above. You will live by your sword, and you will serve your brother. But when you decide to break free, you will shake his yoke from your neck." From that time on, Esau hated Jacob because their father had given Jacob the blessing. And Esau began to scheme, "I will soon be mourning my father's death. Then I will kill my brother Jacob." But Rebekah heard about Esau's plans, so she sent for Jacob and told him, "Listen, Esau is consoling himself by plotting to kill you. So listen carefully, my son. Get ready and flee to my brother Laban in Haran. Stay there with him until your brother cools off. When he calms down and forgets what you have done to him, I will send for you to come back. Why should I lose both of you in one day?" Then Rebekah said to Isaac, "I'm sick and tired of these local Hittite women. I would rather die than see Jacob marry one of them."
Genesis chapter 27 is more than just an ancient tale of trickery. It is a window into human hearts. The ambition, the favoritism, the fear, and the longing. Isaac blessed the wrong son. Yeah. And emphasized to Esau that the blessing would stand. Jacob, on the other hand, received what he sought. This is all deceit and selfishness, but he got to suffer the consequences at Laban's. And then Rebekah, the one that masterminded and succeeded with her deceitful plan, yet the mother of the two sons also suffered her consequences by not being able to see her favorite son again. I want you to think about the lessons learned from this chapter of distrust and division. While you do that, I want to thank you for sticking around, and please join me next time as we follow Jacob into exile and towards a destiny he never expected. I hope you are blessed. Don't forget to subscribe and share. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep seeking to know the Word of God. God bless you.